guys, this is the second video of the course to Introduction to Java Programming Language. So we're gonna talk about cash flow. It's a really important point, not only for Java but all the other programming language. Last video we saw a little bit about if statements. So in this video we're gonna talk about all the others and take a quick look on simple examples how to use that. So this is really important, and you're gonna need to have some examples so you guys can understand. So let's leave like a comment here. You can do it simple. Okay, so let's give an example. Let's put an integer a equals to 10 and integer b can be equal to 20, and then we can do system out print ln, and we can say that is basically, let's just put like this so we can have better visualization. Let's say is a less than b as a question, and here we're gonna do the plus, and we're gonna put a is less than b. So this will give us the result that we expect. That is, in this case we need to have true. Just put a comment here so we have an idea of what is the system out printing. And if we execute, we have an error because we forgot about the semicolon. But when we execute again, and it's basically asking is a less than b, and this is printing out the comparison operator that is true. So this is how we use pretty simple example. I really recommend you to go and take a look on other examples and practice on your own. So let's go to the second cash flow. So here, cash flow no, but control flow. So now we're gonna look about the logical. So this is pretty simple as well. Let's do an example here so you guys get used. Here we can say, let's see, boolean is added equals to true, and boolean has ticket, for example, for a game. And then we can put as false just to see. Here we're gonna print out then we're gonna put the string. Inside the string we can say can enter, like a question. If the can enter, I'm gonna put plus sign here, and then we're gonna add that if it is added, and if it has the ticket. So basically it's saying it will just work if it is added and also if have the ticket. And here we expect to be false statement. So why? Because it is added, we put as true, but and has the ticket we have false, so it won't work because we need to have both being true. So when we execute, it automatically say that it's false, this is an example of logical operator. So let's move for the next example here. So let's talk a little bit again about if statement. So here we're gonna see that, let's put int again, and let's put the age. This we already saw, but it's always good to review if you guys have the opportunity to use HackerRank. Is a really good website that you guys can practice some examples, and they have like different level of, so they have for beginners, they have for intermediate, and also advanced questions you guys can practice there. So here in this case we're gonna put the if statement, and we put the age as 18. If age is more than 18, more or equal, we're gonna basically print it out, system dot out print, and then we're gonna put the number or number of, I don't know, let's say just a simple stuff here. Let's say you can drive. Let's put you can drive. Okay, let's put as 16, because here in United States is the age for driving. So let's put 16 here as well. You can drive, and if we print that up, we're gonna see that it will be true. And if it is true here, because you're gonna print this string here. So if we put here an invalid number, so if age is not more or equal to 16, well, let's put 10. Let's see how it goes. Doesn't do anything because we don't have another else, for example. Okay, so let's move on toward the next example. Let's go to the ternary example. This is how we gonna do. We're gonna put a number for, so int number, let's say that is 5 in this case, and we're gonna basically say that the string result of number, and here is the percentage value, so the rest of the division, so the remainders of the division, and then we can use the question mark, and then even, or in this case odd. So what this is doing, we set up the number as 5, so it's comparing like this here is saying if the number is have 0 remainders, that means if there is 0 remainders, it means that it is even. If there is a remainder, it means that it's odd. So in this case we're gonna have 1 of remainder, so it will be odd. And if we print out this, just to check if it is right, system out print ln, and then we can say number is, and then we put the result. We can add the plus the result. So here if we try to execute, we're gonna have the number is that one won't change, but the thing here that change is even or odd. You can see that it's odd, but if we put 8, that is an even number, we see that it's even, showing up even right here. So that's how ternary operator works. Moving on to the next example, we can look on switch statement. So this is another really useful control flow. So here on this example, we can put that integer is called day. Let's put 3 as we saw before. On this example, we already gave this example there that we put Monday, Tuesday, and all the other days of the week. So just to quick put here, we'll just type and you guys gonna see again how it works, but pretty much simple. You guys can go and try. I really recommend that you guys open a Java compiler and try typing this out, so you guys get used to basically get used to the language. Let's call player. Let's put like player, let's call player here. Let's do another example so you guys get used. So player, let's put defender, case 2. We can see that is, let's just copy and paste since it's a little bit quicker. Midfielder, let's put midfielder. Case 3, we have system out, attack, defend. Okay, so here we have 3 cases, and the default case is the last one. We can do the same, print out, and we're gonna print basically just another, like, I don't know, another position, just for a quick example here. So if we try to run this, since it is number 3, we expect to have attacker or defend. Let's try to execute this. Why this is happening? Because we didn't set up for another day. So what we need to do here in this case is, let's try to put number 2 here. It's printing all the 3. In this case, why is doing this? Basically because we forget to execute the break. So always after the case we use break. So if we don't break the system, so the system stop, you're gonna be printing all the rest of the information. So if we execute the 2, we're gonna only print the case 2, and then we're gonna break and stop the code right here. if we try to put 1, I'm gonna say defend, and let's put like more than, let's put a random number. It will be another position since it's out of the cases. And always, this is important to stop the code. So here, if you don't put break, you're gonna print all the other cases after that. So as we saw before, that's how it works. So continue here, we're gonna move for the examples, another example for. So for loop. Here, the example we're gonna walk through is basically a program that you use the for loop to print numbers from 0 to 2. Really simple one. So a for loop is ideal when you know exactly how many times you will want to repeat a block, for example, a block of code. So if you already know how many times you want to repeat that block of code, is a really good way of approaching. So you can use for loop for that. So pretty simple example we're going to use. We already have the basic class here, the public class hello world, and then here we also have the basic structure that we're going to use for most of the almost all the Java programs that we write. And inside here, let's start the for loop. So we can write for int I equals 0, and then we can say I is less than 3. This is the condition. If y, and then we increment. So now we're gonna basically use the system out print ln to print the string. Let's see the for loop, I don't know, iteration, for loop iteration, and then we put like this. Let's give a space here, and then we can put the y here, the I here, and then put down. So if we run this right now, let's see, let's execute this code and see what happens. Right now is saying that print line. So here we have a error spelling. See, you guys, as you guys can see, is iterating to 2 because it goes from start from 0, so it will have 3 here. So basically, if we write, let me just give an example for you guys. 0 1 0 1 2. So below we're gonna have, if it is the case, so if we start at 1 2 and 3. So as you guys can see, here is referencing the third value, so starting from 0. So that's how it goes. So that's why we print until 2. So let's move for the next example here, that it will be a while loop. So on while loops we can do, let's see a good example. So for while loops, I can basically use to print numbers from 0 to 1 again, but a while loop basically repeats the block of code as long as the conditional is true. So let's see how it goes. So if the condition is not true anymore, it's gonna stop and stop running, stop actually printing the code. So it will basically break, I mean stop the code. So let's give an example here. So if we have here, let's initiate here y is value, and then we start the while loop. Here we put the condition for the while loop. Always, let's put again the same way. As you guys can see, it open braces. But before that we need to system. Let's do this. Let's system print system out print. So now we're gonna print while loop iteration. And then we can put the file here, follow. So what this it will do, so basically here it will actually print out while loop iteration plus while if this condition is true. So if it is true, we'll print this and it will add. So if we start at 0 and then pass through here, because the value it will be less than 3. So it's starting with 0, we'll print 1, and then and then we'll put 1 here, and then we'll pass through and we'll print again while loop iteration, and then we'll add until it's not true anymore. So if we execute this code, you're gonna see an error because I forgot to, let's see, all right, I forgot to close this. So okay, now we're gonna work. As you guys can see, it prints 0 and then 1 and then 2 again. But let's suppose we put the condition until 10. Let's do 10. How many it's gonna happen? As we can see, let's count here. It's actually 10 because it's stop at 9 because it started at 0. So you basically print the code until it's not true anymore. So while is good for these situations. Let's move on for the next one, that is do while. It's pretty similar, but I will show you the difference. While loop. So just writing here the name so you guys can have as your records. Okay, so this program will basically use the while loop to print numbers from 0 to 2. Again, the same example, and we can do some change later, but really simple just so you guys get the idea. So basically the do while loop guarantees that the block runs at least once before checking the condition. So it will start running at least, so at least guarantees that the block will run at least once before starting the condition. These situations can be used in several cases on some examples. I will show you guys here. So if we do basically the same thing there that we did before, and then we're gonna put the 0 here, and then what we're gonna do is start. This is the structure. We put the do there, and then we open curly braces, and then basically we print it out. So system out print ln, then we put inside the parentheses we do while loop duration, and and then space, and then we add again in the same structure as before, but I'm writing again so you guys walk with me and see the code, how it changed. And I recommend you guys to write it down again. Open a Java compiler, so it's really important to practice this so it get in your memories. So here, right here, we're gonna add the while. So you guys already probably noticed the difference. Really simple. Let's execute just to see. Okay, let me put a condition like at 5. Okay, so what's the difference here in this case? In this case, what we're gonna do is do the first, it will run and guarantee that the first block run at least one first. So this will run and this first thing will happen here, the first iteration will happen, and then we have a while. So the while runs after the first block run. So that's how it works, and it will stop when the condition here is false. Same as before, just notice that the while comes after the first block. Okay, after the first block run. So pretty simple, useful as well, really useful. Sometimes we're gonna use this, and I can show you other examples later. Moving on with this course. So the last one that we're gonna see today is the for loop. For each okay, for each loop, how it works is we're gonna, in this case, basically the program use the for each loop to print each element in an array. So what does this mean? It basically is best used when iterating over elements in the array or collection. So basically we're gonna see an example here so you guys can better understand. So if we write an array here, this is how we start an array, and then we put numbers, then let's put some numbers in the array. Let's just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put 5 numbers here. Pretty straightforward. Then we close. Don't forget to put this. Now we do the for loop, and then we put int, and then this we call numbers, right? Okay, so as you guys can see, what I'm doing here is I open the array, I put the numbers in the array, and now I'm doing the for the number in numbers. For each number on numbers, we're gonna do, let's print system out print ln. So now we're gonna print ln. Let's do for each value, and then we're gonna add numbers here. So let's run and see how it goes. As you guys can see, it will basically start in the array. We're gonna print out the array because it's basically saying all the numbers in the array. It's printing out all the numbers in the array. Really simple program, and if just so you guys can see, if I add another number here, or let's suppose I change the order. Let's put the 2 here. It will work. As you guys can see, is in basically the order that we select the array in when we open and define the numbers. Okay, so we have other examples how to use. We're gonna see better examples later, and we're gonna try to use also in our little project in the end of the course. Thank you so much, guys. This is our second class for the course Introduction to Java Programming Language. It's pretty simple. It's really important to know the control flows and how to use in certain situations. I recommend you guys to go in some websites that you can practice some exercise. They have several levels for if you are a beginner. If you are more advanced, they also have some exercise, some problems so you can solve and practice your programming skills. So the best way to learn is to go and try out by yourself, practice, because just looking and watching someone else program is not a really good idea to do. So I really recommend you to do that. Go and practice by your own, and sometimes good to get into the documentation. Go there, read a little bit about the documentation, and if you guys have some question, just search on some videos that will probably be available so you guys can understand better. So see you guys in next class. Thank you.